So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to a scene in Duluth, Minnesota, except to the hearth fire, where it is the middle of the goddamn night, because sleeping is for people who aren't soul searching and dying of guilt inside. Charlotte has gone through, gotten through a day. God bless her. Spending a lot of it probably just being around Damon. Um, she's still doing her keepery type stuff, I guess, that she was appointed, seeing as she can't go get the chicken anymore, really. Uh here's hoping that doesn't bite her in the ass. Um but yeah, she has been a very passive presence on Sept, but very much sticking around Damon now that she doesn't have to, well, it doesn't feel like she has to keep it on the down low. There's been public handholding and shit. It's crazy. But yeah, she's, come back, eaten, even laid down with Damon for a while, made sure he got himself properly to sleep. But after, you know, the couple hours, she just it's not sticking. So she carefully pries herself out of bed, kind of eases out to not wake him up. And just well, they do a lot of shit together. She probably has a book in his room. Just kind of snags it off,
Roll
the
me,
bedside
roll me,
table.
roll me perception alertness.
Oh god. Oh what?
Hearing based.
Oh lord. Let's look. The fuck is my perception alertness now? It's pretty fucking good. Okay. Go to the right place to make with the dice rolling. That's still one success. If it's
You
standard diff.
it's standard if you just hear it, and it's in the side chat. You just hear that kind of someone is singing. It's down. This pack house is specifically designed to be the down by the lake. Now that you know what totem they follow, it's kind of obvious why
Yeah.
down by one of the rivers. So you hear someone singing,
Still
faint but distinctly male.
she kind of squints, but stacks the book kind of on autopilot because that's what she was thinking about doing before she heard it. And she'll, again, very, very gingerly, very quietly, just kind of slip out of the room, not even pushing the door all the way shut so that it doesn't click. And we'll, I guess, kind of snag a robe and totter downstairs barefoot.
You do pitter 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 pitter. The house is dead silent. You can hear the snores from Maria's room.
Bless her heart. Yeah, she sees no one around in the sitting area, no one in the kitchen, and she kind of comes around to the front of the house, and I don't know if there's windows by the door or anything, but
There's like two, those two kind of glass panels essentially.
mm-hmm. yeah,
Yeah, you
she
can lean out them.
yeah she comes over and kind of glances at him to see if Leaf's in his usual spot at least.
Nope. Roll me perception alertness again.
Well, nothing.
No, you can't hear the singing. You're not sure. Maybe you're in the wrong part of the house, but you can't hear the singing anymore.
Yeah, she'll kind of deflate a little when Leaf isn't out front, and fuck it, she's done weirder things. Just kind of I mean, I assume the back door is usually where they go in and out since it's facing the lake and facing Sept
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
just walk
It's
into
but
that.
you just go to the kitchen and just open the side door and you come out the back.
Yeah. So she'll meander through and give up and put her book down on her way, like set it down on the counter in the kitchen or something, and Just go for the back door. She'll go on a
You
walk if there's no one awake.
Yeah, you open up the screen door and open down by that river stream. You see a figure sitting there, and you hear that singing, and that voice is powerful. You know,
I
you can see
mean,
it off in the distance.
she's reasonably curious, and it's just down towards the water. It's not like
Hmm.
she's going grossly out of her way. So she, ties the robe a little more firmly and kind of crosses her arms and starts puttering.
Yeah, you make it through some of the clotheslines that, like, say, Maria hangs out now to wash and stuff like that. And move along. And the closer you get, that's Leaf. He has his back. You just see his back, but you recognize like the braided hair, and that's Leaf singing. And I'll make it roll because he has high enough dice for this. And it's plus his pure breed. So. Yeah, look at that roll. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has a thunderous voice. Like, it's not like growling or shouting. It's very soulful, very more. It sounds like almost like a lost person. You know what I mean? Howling away and singing. The voice is incredible.
She just kind of ends up stuck there in puzzlement because that's Leaf. It just kind of stands there and listens. It's not like she's hiding. She's kind of right out there. She just kind of stops and listens.
Yeah, I mean, the song itself is very sad, very very lonely, actually. And he eventually will stop and begin to, he doesn't. You get the impression that he's not there. No, he doesn't see you there as he's cleaning. You can see him cleaning, like, basically the hilt of a blade of an axe as he's just rubbing it along as he's been singing.
She finally, as the song ends, picks up her puttering. Probably walking a little carefully because she is barefoot and I have no idea what is around on the ground here. But the last thing she needs to do is step on a fucking pine cone and squeal like a baby.
I imagine it's like a mixture of pine cones, leaves. It's early spring, so stuff is starting to grow back. Could be just mainly like wet early morning grass, that type of thing.
Yep. So she's, just kind of turns her eyes back down to her feet to watch where she's going, starts puttering again in that direction. Again, she's not making a ton of noise, but then again, she's, besides very carefully picking her way along and being barefoot, isn't like going way out of her way to be super quiet.
See if he hears you. Yeah, he does. His head will snap around.
It'll
Like,
probably take her a
aggressive.
second to realize, honestly.
He won't do it in an aggressive way. He'll look over his shoulder, like mid cleaning.
And she'll probably glance up at some point and see that he's spotted her.
Stare, Katie.
Hmm?
The stare. That's all you're greeted by. That signature stare.
Just kind of raises a hand in like the little side to side wave and turns her eyes back down to keep picking her way over. At least until she's clear of the area with the pine cones and shit.
He just, yeah. When you look back up, his eyes haven't left yours. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like it's like you have been spotted, target sighted, target required. You know what I mean?
She honestly, I'm not sure it bothers her that much at the moment. He's just fucking staring. It's not like he's being overtly hostile. He's just being Leaf.
So where do you sit? Do you sit exactly beside him or a bit of a distance away?
I mean, what is he sitting on? What's happening there?
It's like he's by the stream. There is a rock, like a kind of small inlet, a round thing. So he's perched himself on that. So basically his feet are dangling over the stream of the water flowing. There's another two rocks there, and then there's, you could reckon there's enough room for you to squeeze up beside him. But it seems quite solitary. You see he's laying out several like cleaning stuff. You get the impression he's just cleaning everything. Like his armor is there, everything is there.
Yeah, she's not gonna like trot up that close to him. They're not that cool yet, but she'll take an adjacent sitting spot.
There's like a couple of logs there as well,
Yeah, she sits like reasonably close by, like conversational distance, but doesn't push into his fucking personal space.
Yeah, you just see him like with like a cloth kind of just gently begin to rub it as you see him dipping it into the water, and you know what I mean? Using specific oils and all that.
She doesn't she is not going to like meet his stare the whole fucking time. She just kind of picks her way to a spot and sits and kind of looks out over the lake, because a lot of people do this lake sitting thing, and maybe it's not so bad.
You won't say anything. You just hear the casual like scraping of him cleaning. You know what I mean? Maybe the little pitter patter of water as he dips his hands down. You get the impression he's almost waiting for someone to sing back.
She is not skilled at singing.
You get like, if you give me a perception empathy, actually, if you're looking at Leaf at all in any way.
She will. It's kind of curiously.
How much you get? 2?
Yes.
So with 2, you get the impression he's not waiting for you to sing back. He looks almost like looking out towards the lake. The river, the river. It seems to flow down along the streams. His eyes seem to follow it as he was singing. You get the impression he's almost waiting. Waiting to see, can he hear a voice singing back up through the river at him.
And after, a couple solid awkward moments of just silence, her staring out at the lake, taking a glance over at him, and she'll look back out to the lake again. Kind of scrunch her nose for a half second. You don't have to stop.
Looks over at her. It's not for you.
She kind of shrugs, looking down at her hands. I didn't think it was. Still nice, though.
Doesn't say anything, just stares down at the blade and gently puts it aside and begins to take some of the straps and just begins to gently scrub the muck off them.
Would I be bothering you if I sat here for a bit?
The Sept is a free place to sit.
Oh, yeah, obviously. But you're kind of doing your own thing.
If you want to sit down, I'm not going to ridicule you for sitting down.
She kind of throws him a side glance. It's definitely kind of a studying, are you being difficult sort of glance.
You can roll another peony.
Oh well.
Do it. Roll it.
Only one.
It's more not being difficult, it's more like, I don't know what to fucking say. Do you know what I mean? It's that impression. You have now caught me singing. That's what you get with 1.
She just kind of glances over, does that squinty like, are you being difficult face, and finally kind of looks up, takes a breath, and looks back at him again. You can tell me to fuck off if you want.
Why did you come down?
Um, well, I heard the singing and I was curious, and now that I'm here, I'm awake anyways, and I don't want to be by myself.
Why don't you want to feel be by yourself?
Because it's lonely enough already.
Start laughing.
She kind of pitches him again, kind of that scrunched nose look. I mean, I'm not saying I don't have friends or anything. I do, but what? What's so funny?
You glasswalkers are always so awkward with the way they display loneliness.
Yeah, full. She manifests full stubborn kid face. Why is it funny?
Because all sometimes everyone wants to do is just talk. Talk and talk and talk.
You asked.
I was just curious.
Well, you can't say I'm being talky when I'm answering a question. That's not fair.
It's just interesting the way you all act. Watching you all.
How do we all act?
So very human.
Oh, yeah. The lifetime of being human doesn't just go away after, what, a year of this? Is
You
that
hear the as he cleans. Depends on the person. Depends on the auspice. Depends on the tribe.
I don't see how some of you guys take so hard to it. It's not like it erases everything that happened before.
Because it's, for some people, is the only thing they have left after all has ended. For some of us, this is the only thing we have.
And she kind of purses her lips on that thoughtfully. Turns to looking back out over the water. Just because ugh, internal monologues should be internal.
My people, we sing across the battlefield, waiting to see would the enemy sing back before we all kill each other. Sometimes you just wish it's that person you would wish to hear would sing back.
Why would you want the enemy to sing to you? It just makes them people.
And look over. It isn't just spirals that can be the enemy at times.
I know, but why would you want them to do something that she just kind of shrugs human? Isn't it easier to kill something you don't sympathize with?
But then what are we? Sometimes it is easier to, yes, of course, slay the worm, always. But when you're fighting your brothers and sisters of Gaia, it's that final reminder of the things you need to do before the battle. It's that final peace with yourself of what actions you're about to take.
And why would we go to war with each other? I know I've gotten the history lesson. She kind of puts a hand up like don't start. But times have changed. Things are established now.
Really,
Are there still people going and conquesting over cairns?
in different ways.
I doubt it's on a battlefield, though.
There are many forms of a battlefield.
Fine, then I doubt it's over a traditional battlefield, then.
You'd be surprised.
I would. It would suck, but I'd be surprised.
Sometimes we sing because we are sad on the choices we've made. They know that no matter which side wins, it's going to be a defeat either way. And sometimes that sadness is alright, to admit to each other before the end. Maybe it's apologizing to each other for what's about to happen next. But he'll spread his hands. Us Fenrir are simple things. And smile to himself.
I never said that.
It's how you look at us, though.
A simple life doesn't mean a simple mind.
A simple life, yes. Shakes his head.
Is simple supposed to be bad? It's not an insult.
There's nothing simple about being one of us.
Maybe that's why I wasn't any good for being one. Because I didn't get it.
Look over at her. No, I don't think you would have lasted long with one of us.
No, probably not. Think of how many walls I would have slain by now. Kind of rubs a hand through her hair.
Just because you're not the strongest does not mean you have the will. Being a Fenrir often means, yes, strength is obviously important, but Fenris asked us not to be just the strongest, but to be the most determined to win the war. Because everyone else would debate and everyone else would politic. He asked us to be that front line. In the end, we're all going to die. All of us. The only way that Fenrir know how to die is with some semblance of dignity. And if that's the way we go out, then that's the way I'd rather go.
She kind of offers up a helpless shrug. I'm just not strong enough for it then. I don't mean like physically. Just
Then why are you fighting if you're not strong enough? Why not just go out there and fall on your claws if you're not strong enough?
doesn't mean I can't do anything.
You just said yourself you're not strong enough.
Not to be one of you guys. No.
He just shakes his head.
I mean, look at my fucking track record. If that's not categorically weak, I don't know what is.
That is why people judge you the way they do, Charlotte.
Why?
You're so ready to tear yourself down after a slight mistake that most cleats make when they're young.
That's because I can look at what I did wrong and know I should have performed better. So.
And then punish yourself regularly instead of trying to change what is wrong. It's not motivational, it's self-pity.
She kind of scrunches her brow. Doesn't mean I don't try to do better the next time. Just means I don't try to hold some illusion of being a badass. I don't
No,
tell myself I'm better than I am.
no, instead you wallow in your own pity.
If I tried to deny the stuff I fucked up, I would just get picked apart by someone else. I'd rather
There's a
just
difference between denying and over-obsessing. There is a fine line between admitting your faults and over-obsessing over them.
not obsessing.
You do. Maria does it as well. The both of you have that in common.
She shrugs. She's suddenly fascinated with her hands again. I'd still rather poke fun at myself than have someone else do it.
People are going to poke fun at you either way, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of the sting out of it. Do you agree?
Does it? Oh, does it? You've been bawling non-stop since that young boy died.
That has nothing to do with me. Just,
But you blame yourself.
well, yeah.
Even though, from what I was told, he charged in, breaking rank.
Yeah.
And he ran in regardless of your orders.
Yeah.
That sounds more like your responsibility than anything. And from what else I was told, you got the rest of the party out safe.
Oh, yeah.
You killed one of them.
I just got the last shot.
You killed one of them.
Yeah?
What part of you is beating yourself up about it then?
It's the first time I got to lead something, and one of my best friends died. How could I not feel bad about that?
There's a difference between grieving and what you're doing.
Is there anyone who leads on something like that and loses people that doesn't blame themselves, even if it's not their fault?
They're going to blame themselves, yes, but you are not carrying it like someone who wants to lead. You're carrying it as if now this is the reason why you'll never lead again. You're using it as a fear rather than what it is, which is a lesson. A painful one, but a lesson all the same.
She just rubs her face and finally kind of snaps a glance over it, maybe a little sharply, even kind of goes, then what's the lesson? Because I can't figure it out. I can't figure out how to fix anything when the thing that got someone killed is completely out of my control. How am I supposed to keep people from dying?
You can't. Not all the time. Sometimes a situation will always go awry. And it's up to you, as a leader, to learn to blend to that situation. A good leader can adapt. It's what you did.
Just, I can't adapt if I can't figure out what I could have done differently and change it.
Sometimes you can plan out a perfect situation and it will come tumbling wrong at the slightest drop of a pin. In that moment, you could have fallen apart and gotten the rest of the party killed. But you didn't. Death will happen and things will always go wrong. And you can't coordinate a plan like it's some sort of computer book.
kind of squints at him at the term computer book.
You can't sit down and plan every ounce of every detail. You could, but there'll be always that one difference.
No, I didn't pre-plan like that. It was all based on what was happening. It was solid. I just
You assumed it was solid. That is the difference.
Was
Was
and
it?
then he just took off like fucking lightning. He had to have. We'd already stopped him running off once. I didn't expect him to try to do it again. Not that fast.
You assumed.
No saying the plan was bad when we couldn't stick to it anyways.
And there you go, back to self-blame.
Is it self-blame to say it should have worked and would have?
Would it have? You could spend your whole life wondering whether things would have worked the right way or the wrong way. You could sit here all night.
I already did it all day. Kind of ruffles her hair again.
Then why are you trying to debate with me when you know you're losing? And you know, in your heart of hearts, what you're doing is inherently selfish.
Because I don't know what else to do.
Sit with it. Bury your friend. Take the loss. Take the lesson. Grow from it.
And yeah, she shoots a glance back over at him, and it's just, it's hard hitting truth, and she's almost immediately like watery eyed.
Stares at her.
I don't know how to grow if I can't figure out what I've did wrong and fix it.
Stands up very calmly, very coldly, and walks over to her and leans down. Those piercing blue eyes.
It does not help with the watery eyes at all.
You don't fix death. You don't plan. Sometimes people under your command will die. Sometimes you will have to send people under your command to their death. Sometimes you will plan the perfect plan and something will go wrong and a person or many will die. But if you can keep calm while others around you are panicking and others around you cling to whatever self-doubt and blame, and you push and you learn and grow, you be the example rather than just wallow in the shame. That's how you learn.
And she doesn't manage to like break eye contact until it's, kind of with that obnoxious loud snuffle, and she finally like turns her face down again, rubs at it. It sucks.
Death does do that.
Have you had to lead people?
I'm a foster, Charlotte.
No, just
You don't get to the rank I am, and the tribe I'm in without leading. We're philodoxes. People look to us for guidance.
I'd at least get points for keeping my shit together till we got back.
Getting there.
How many people were close to you have you lost?
Enough.
What do you do?
I sing. He goes and sits back down, begins to polish out his gear again.
She like deflates slightly, not in a like a piteous puddle, just kind of. It's not the answer she wanted, but it's an answer that makes sense.
I sing and I sit here in the quiet and I make peace with myself and the decisions I made. And then I go back out there.
Makes sense, I guess.
You're going to spend a long time weighing the decisions you've made in your head. The person you need to be settled with is yourself before you even make those decisions for people.
Yeah.
So this, he points, helps no one, including you.
Guess not.
It's harsh. But you can't be soft all the time in this world. Sometimes there is a degree of metal you need in order to be able to do what we do.
I know.
No, you don't. No, now you are fine. You didn't before.
I've already had to do shit I didn't like. I don't mean that like
Death
baby
changes a
fucker.
perspective. Death changes our perspective for every one of us. It puts us in the reality of what we are. Now you can either be terrified of that reality and blame yourself for every little mistake, or you can accept it.
And she kind of pulls herself up, not like up off the ground, but like, pulls her legs up, just kind of loops her arms around him. She's kind of defaulted back to looking out over the lake, which, if it's calm and there's no breeze, is just a perfect fucking reflection of the damn sky.
Mm-hmm.
Just wish I knew why I did it.
You can ask him when you meet him again.
Even I know the home ones are different.
Well, there's no point in wondering.
I know it's a silly Glasswalker thing to say, but you can't fix problems you can't identify. If I understood why, maybe I could keep it from happening again.
Go back to bed, Charlotte.
And she just kind of glances aside at him. I mean, her expression's pretty open. She's not hiding anything. She just kind of takes it as a dismissal, starts pulling herself up off the ground.
Looks over. That, what you just said there, is the reason why you're not sleeping. That right there is what's holding you back.
Is it wrong to want to understand?
To obsess over it is a far different thing.
There's like not even like a full nose wrinkle. It's just there's kind of a fleeting sense of, there's obviously some stubborn thought line along the lines of, I mean, it's a pretty blatant, like you can practically read it on her faces. I'm not obsessing, but
Sometimes you have to kill the heart for a while, so you can make sure you give it to everyone else.
yeah, I guess. Just seems weird to let it go without getting an answer.
Sometimes this world, as he turns back, won't give you the answers you always require.
Yeah. Guess not.
And he will start singing again. And oddly, roll me perception alertness.
Okay.
Do it. What you get?
Tree.
Oh, you got hide. Yeah, perfect. This was diff 8, so you hear singing echo across the sept as well in response to leave. One of those voices is definitely Lily. One of them is Abel.
Yeah, she'll initially kind of glance aside in surprise that he starts. And then kind of balk a glance across the lake as voices echo back.
You look over his shoulder. We all mourn, but we don't consume ourselves by it.
guess I just haven't learned how to not.
You're learning.
And she kind of turns an honest, questioning face to him. She says, "Am I?"
The fact that you came out here instead of lying there, thinking about it.
Gets a it's a very brief kind of upward turn at the corner of her lips. It's a pretty satisfying answer. It seems to cheer her up at least for half a second. You can kind of see it.
And he'll turn and go back, almost singing back in response to them. Again, they all sound very sad, but still that get pride. You know what I mean in the voice.
And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, she probably lingers there for at least a little bit, just kind of listening to it echo.
Then you hear another big booming voice echo across, singing across. You know that howl. That's the big guy.
Big guy? Which big guy?
Alpha. The Alpha, the Sept.
Oh Jesus!
You get the impression the Fenrir are essentially singing to each other, like mourning essentially the loss of a Septmate.
Yeah, the eyes kind of pop a little wide again. And actually, she'll begin to listen a little more keenly, trying to pick out voices.
You will hear Silencing Eyes, the Warder, Frozen Death. You will hear Wildfire, Leaf, Lily. All the Fenrir, essentially. All the Fenrir NPCs.
And she just kind of sits there and in her head tallies. Is she hear Abel?
Yeah.
Is he on Sept?
Yep.
Now here's the real trick question. Does she hear Zuri?
No. You only hear Fenrir. The Fenrirs.
That's what I figured.
This seems to be a Fenrir thing.
No,
like I said, yeah, you hear every Fenrir NPC, so they're all on Sept essentially.
Truth be told, she doesn't even know the language they're singing, but
yeah, you hear Lena and all the Fenrir NPCs essentially, everybody.
Yeah, she can't sing with it. She doesn't know what they're singing. She doesn't know the words, but she can stand there and listen to it, and it's almost as good.
How much academics you got?
2.
Roll me intelligence academics.
Okay.
I'll let you understand what language it is, essentially. If you get a good roll.
I got 1 pen that survived.
1 success will give you... They're singing Old Norse to each other.
Yeah, that kind of figures. And overall tone, it sounds kind of dirgy.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, she recognizes that it is their language, and it's a communal form of mourning, which is something she had no idea they did. And she kind of almost guiltily partakes, if only just in listening, for maybe a little longer than one might expect, at least from a Glasswalker, but...
I mean, in all honesty, it's quite beautiful, you know what I mean? Haunting, but quite beautiful.
Exactly.
I even put the lyrics for you in English there for you.
Damn. Yeah, she has no idea what they're singing, but it really is. It's haunting, and at the same time, it's very touching, considering that it's all of them. And while they it's odd because it gives them the satisfaction of having an established way to mourn. They don't have to cry in front of each other. They just share it like this. So she finds it actually fairly fascinating. And in a way, kind of satisfying because, let's face it, people have been putting on brave faces during the day. And it's nice to know that she and the people that knew him, closest aren't the only ones who are upset. I mean, cursory, you know, nice little words don't mean much. But this holds a lot of weight. And he'll eventually hear her start moving again. I don't know if this is something they do in multiple rounds or.
Yeah, it seems to be that case. Like, there'll be a pause and then someone else will start and everyone else will echo back.
Yeah, she makes it through hopefully a full round of it. And the pause, and as they begin again, he'll hear her bare feet kind of, scuffing lightly through whatever dead leaves, undergrowth there is, grass.
Where are you going then, Charlotte?
At least for the moment. Actually, how far is Abel's voice like echoing distant or is it reasonably near?
It'd be reasonably near. You kind of hear it in the same range between him and Lena, essentially.
She'll start puttering down the lake edge then. Much as before, she's got a robe on over her gym jams and her arms kind of crossed in, kind of closed posture, and just putters.
And you still hear the echo. You see looking up around the place, like the Fianna are like, geez, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And eventually you find down at one of the end of the riverbed, drinking out of essentially a bottle. Looking up at the sky, as you can hear the voices in the early evening, like the late evening mist.
Charlotte will be at least a little satisfied that the other people that she's seen, especially the Fianna and stuff, like looking around like, the fuck? Because at least she's not the only one who is completely oblivious. That helps. And yeah, when she spots Abel, she'll do a very similar thing. Maybe sit a little closer to him than she would to Leaf. Like, she gave him a good bit of distance. But, no, she'll sit essentially 2 spaces down from him, not right up alongside him, but nearby.
He'll look over as he like finishes one of the like verses. Again, you do notice that Leaf has a better voice than him. He's just more growly.
Ironic.
He'll turn and look over. He takes like a swig. You even just assume by the way he's drinking, you can smell the honey off the bottle as well.
And she just kind of, especially as he looks over and she, is looking back, just kind of does the soft little smile. It's beautiful.
Songs of the old ways. When a warrior dies, we sing for them. Alpha's policy. They may not be our tribe, but they died in the fight.
That's a good policy.
We familiar lead by example. Takes a
Then what?
And it'll be the gathering of the parted.
You're doing it, right?
Nods his head.
Good. How's Zuri doing?
Shrugs. She mourns. She's never been good at this sort of thing.
She kind of cracks, again, it's all of her expressions are a little tinted with the grief, but she still manages to crack a grin. I'm not sure this is the kind of thing a person wants to get good at.
There's a difference between getting good and getting used to it. She's not adjusted just yet. She's still only young. Takes a swig.
She's good people.
She is. But little Zori always never was quite able for her. The morning.
She'll manage.
She will. She gets attached too much to everybody. It's her duty as an Arun to protect everyone, she tells all of us.
Well, yeah. But that's why she protects so fiercely, because she cares.
You look at her and nod, and that's why she cries so heavily when one of us is lost. She's a noble little thing.
She again kind of cracks the half grin. It was nice not to be the only one crying.
You won't see many of us doing that. Grin at her.
Nope. Nope, not a one. But the singing, that's good too. Prettier than crying, anyways.
Just grins. We've been doing this for a long time. You should see when one of us goes to the homeland.
Louder song?
Louder songs and more drinking. Celebrating.
No, at least there's that.
Well, they're on their way home. The grin.
It's weird to know that's true.
No, you glasswalkers never really understand the old ways.
It's just like I know I'm practically a baby and all, but it's weird to go from death just kind of being done and not knowing to knowing exactly where you go and what happens. It's hard to stop thinking of it as the end.
That's the joy of it all. For us, anyway. To earn your way there into the homeland.
I guess so. She actually looks maybe a touch more thoughtful than one should be. I mean, unless of course you're a glasswalker and everything's something you have to like poke and prod objectively in your head.
You smile.
I guess it makes it a lot easier if you think, well, he's still being himself. He just kind of left his body behind.
Left his body behind for us to bring him on into the next life so he may walk with it. So all of us can grieve and celebrate. And give him the goodbye that he always wanted. That's what I at least believe.
It's weird. You guys talk about your homeland so much. I have no idea where he's gone.
Maybe you should find out. Grin.
What,
Go
just
ask the
go
bone.
looking?
Go ask the bone nurse.
Maybe I should. I'm pretty sure if I wake any of them up this time of night, they will strangle me.
I'd wait till tomorrow and make sure Reggie is at least sober. You know, he's gotten a bit drunk. That was his prodigy after all.
Yeah. Hell, I would have been drunk the whole time too. I guess I'm just more of a quitter. Just kind of grins.
Just takes a swig. More of a crier, I think.
Yeah. I'm a big crier. Big old crybaby.
You're a glass hooker, you're allowed to be a crybaby.
Well, that's good. Otherwise, this would get real awkward.
It would if you were a Fenrir, I'd be hitting you already.
Well, thank Gaia for small favors. I'm not getting punched in the face. And
Gives her,
crying already.
gives her one of the finger guns.
How are you always so on point?
My job takes a huge swig.
You're ridiculous.
Mm.
It's cool, the singing. How long... It kind of, tips in here. How long do you do it?
All night?
She just kind of pitches him a slightly more mellow smile. Well, thank you.
Gives her a small smile.
I should sleep.
You should.
She kind of nods, takes a second, decides that she is in fact doing this, and kind of pulls herself up. Thanks for talking to me.
Just raises his bottle, takes another drink.
I bet it helps.
Slightly.
Yeah, even a little help is better than no help.
His grin is his big husky voice and joins him with the chorus.
And yeah, she starts puttering back up towards the house.
What are you doing then, Charlotte?
She's just gonna ease back in, Probably actually like once she gets back up to the bedroom, we'll crack the window so she can hear the singing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Like you can hear Lily from the other side of the hallway, like out the house, singing out of the window.
And yeah, it's weirdly soothing to hear other people mourn. I guess, it's a loves company kind of thing. But she'll like crawl back into bed with Damon and curl up and
He's fast
do
asleep.
do her best to sleep out the rest of the night so that she can bother people in the morning.
And as the Fenrir mourn loss of a stepmate together before the gathering of the departed, is here the scene will end.